July 1993. The year nature rewrote the rules. No answers, no vaccine, just one law. If you die, you rise. Governments around the world struggle to hold the seams together, whatever it costs, whoever they buried. From the ashes, a new American authority emerged, the Department of Homeland Containment, the DHC. They control, they regulate, they silence. The people are fractured. On one side, the red badge riders, DHC loyalists enforcing obedience by force, and on the other, the freedom hardliners, holding the last line for liberty and the Constitution. And in the shadows, the chain breakers, death worshipping cultists who preach infection and salvation. They want the end, and they'll make sure it comes. And in the ruins of it all, the dead walk, the living obey. But somewhere past the static, one voice still burns like a candle in the dark, a signal they haven't killed yet. This is Dead Dial. Some neighborhoods have welcome mats, some have reinforced barricades, and a red badge rider watching the front line like he owes them money. Welcome back to Dead Dial, folks. Still broadcasting past the static, and still not sponsored by anyone who can buy my silence. We got a hell of a signal for you tonight. I'm talking riders, checkpoints. I'm talking about what it means to live in a country where the flags are bleach stained and kids are carrying trauma kits to school. And the guy patrolling your block used to be a mall cop. This past week, a red badge did a sweep in a suburb outside Knoxville. Just a routine check-in, they said. What ended up happening is a 10-year-old girl gets zip-tied to a kitchen chair alongside her recently infected father. He will chew the drywall just to munch on her face. But the writers? No panic, no hesitation, just protocol. No footage, no pictures. Hell, even the reporters won't let in to investigate. The neighbors as eyewitnesses. They call it security. I call it a managed decay. And while they watch us through their cracked riot visors, we watch them through whatever signal still slips past their towers. Stay tuned. Dead Dial's not dead yet.
Three-lot pair of bloodstained shoes. Mama said don't talk to blues. DHC trucks rolling like thunder. All that's holy torn asunder. Sing that blue light gospel through the bars of this dance revival. Clap your hands till the dawn turns red, and hope to God you're not next, not dead. Bulletproof Bible, bedside grace. Red bad sermons wear a riot's face. They said it's safety, they said it's right, but we baptize in tear gas every night. Sing me that blue light gospel through the bars of this dance revival. Clap your hands till the dawn turns red. God, you're not next, not dead. Bulletproof Bibles, zip-tied grace. Red bad sermons wear a riot's face. They said it's safety, they said it's right, but we baptize in tear gas every night. Sing me that blue light gospel, hear the whisper so they don't rival. Raise your hands, not too high. Praise the quiet, praise don't cry. Amen behind the muzzle's mark and the land of law and no remorse. Sing mercy, dancing through. Sing gospel till the set is
your day been, listener? Dodge any infected on your way to breakfast? Man, you ever wonder who signs up to be a red badge rider? It's not the people with medals on their shelves. It's the guy who failed out of Sheriff's Academy. The woman who used to call HOA every week because their gas was too high. It's the angry ones, the petty ones. And now they got armbands and permission to kick down your door. A little history, listener, just in case you forgot. Remember, the Red Badge Riders started as a small volunteer patrols in the early days of the outbreak. Now that was back when people thought neighborhood watch could stop the sprinters. Some of them do mean well, some, but most just wanted a reason to carry without a question. The DHC didn't endorse them at first, too messy, too undisciplined. But when the walls started cracking and the official troops were stretched way too thin, guess who showed up? Armed, angry, and already organized. Now, they are section auxiliary, unofficial, off the books. But make no mistake, they are DHE's house pets. They don't get curfew extensions or food rations in some zones without the red badge nod. They don't wear government uniforms. They don't take oaths. All you need is an armband, deep red, dyed cotton, handed to you after your loyalty test. No one knows exactly what this test is, but the rumor? You turn in someone close, someone who is clean, someone who trusted you. They call themselves the community guardians. But their idea of guarding is firebombing a house, or having a pre-war flag in the window, or zip-tying a neighbor because his daughter played music too loud after curfew. There are towns now, real towns, where the DHC doesn't even show up anymore. Red badge enclaves are self-governed, self-enforced, curfews, cleansing drills, loyalty sermons over the loudspeakers, and if you speak out, they don't arrest you. Oh no, they write your name on a list. You know if you're on it. One night, your porch light won't turn on, your water's cut off, the neighborhood dog stops barking. So that's who they are, Red Badge Riders. Heroes in their own minds, hall monitors with handguns. They're not the future of America. They're what became when the dead made a scare of the living. More after this.
Of the D-zone line where the lights flicker red like a warning sign. My sis stay close, but Dad's got that stare. He's looking for ghosts that ain't even there. K9, exit nowhere, dreams in your back, breathing the air. No more maps, no signs, no fear. Just a prayer that the gate ain't fair. Met a man who sold names for bread, said they let one through, shot him dead. You ask too loud, they call you a cause. You kneel too quick, they give you a ball. I saw a kid with a crayon badge, drew hope on his coat in scratchy red hatch. We all pretended he'd be alright, while sirens kissed into sleep that night. K9, exit nowhere, dreams in your back, breathe in the air. No more maps, no signs, no fear. Just a prayer that the gate ain't fair. Oh, 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 oh. No, oh, oh. Gate 9, exit nowhere. Truth is taxed, silence rare. If you get past, don't wave or stare. Just keep walking like no one cares. We parked like a warning sign. My sis stays close, but Dad's got that stare. He's looking for a ghost that ain't even there.
Remember, listener, cardio keeps you thin and keeps you alive. More on the Red Badge Riders. It didn't happen overnight. It never does. The Red Badge didn't come marching to power with a flag and a gun. They crept in, block by block, sweep by sweep, checkpoint by checkpoint. First, they showed up to help armed civilians assisting the DHE containment teams. Then they were running drills. Then they were issuing curfews. Now, they're rewriting the rules. It's easy when people are scared. Fear opens the door, hands them over the keys, and thanks you for the service. Some towns welcome them. I don't blame them. When them firewalls broke down and hospitals filled up with twitchers, anyone promised protection looked like salvation. But the price was always hidden in the fine print. You get a little extra fruit if you wear the colors. You get first access to the vaccine line, even if the vaccine doesn't work. You get cleared for travel, for work, for meds, as long as you sign the right paper. And if you don't get told. You just wake up one morning and the doors to your own house don't open. This are appointed local coordinators, red sleeve mayors. Then they ban DHC oversight and designated autonomy sectors. Next thing you know, the riders are writing their own laws. I got copies of their new charter. It's 5 pages of what you can't do, and no pages on what happens if you're accused of doing those. In one town in Utah, they renamed the school Sanctuary Ward 3. They hold loyalty tests in the gymnasium. Kids, they don't do math exams anymore. They write confessions. That's what happens when the Watchers decide the rules. So no, they didn't take over with tanks or drones. They took over the way rot spreads in wood. Quiet, slow, and too late to stop once you finally hear the crack. Not all uniforms are stitched in government halls. Some are sewn with fear and soaked in your neighbor's blood. That was brought to you by Homefront Reality. Looking for a safe, affordable place to raise a family? Without the hassle of curfews, checkpoints, or a nightly moaning from the alley? Come on down to Homefront Reality, your #1 licensed relocation partner in the Red Badge certified communities. We got pre-cleared cul-de-sacs, reinforced school zones, and all homes come with a complimentary welcome and weaponized gift basket. Your neighbors are hand-picked, your fences electrified, and your options are limited. Homefront Reality, where your papers are worth more than your personality. Apply now before the DHC rezones your soul. Homefront Reality, because the undead don't care if the lawn is mowed. They used to say the American dream was a house, 2 kids, and a mortgage. Now it's a can of clean water, no new bite marks, and the hope your neighborhood doesn't light up at 2 a.m. This is how we live now. Not in fear of death, but in fear of coming back wrong. There's no safe zone anymore, just the illusion of control. Every country, every neighborhood, every DHC-approved settlement, it's all a house of cards built on infection reports and prayer. You go to sleep to the sounds of sirens. You wake up to the hum of a drone net overhead. Kids don't play tag anymore. They practice drag and drop drills. Turn your back too long and the world moves on without you. Or worse, comes back for you. People don't visit graves. We cremate everything now. We don't mourn. You sanitize. They built containment walls across 3 major cities last year, and they made out of fear and silence. No one talks about who lives just outside these barriers, though, or how long they've been before their street becomes part of a next firewall test. We don't say I love you the same. It's let me check your pulse, or lock the door behind me. And yet somehow, we survive. Not thrive, not rebuild, just persist. One more power outage at a time. This isn't life, y'all. It's afterlife in motion, and it's getting harder to tell who's dead and who's just good at pretending not to be. Now, a woman in Missouri wrote me once, said her son asked, if we're all infected, how come we're not all monsters? She told him, we are. Some of us just hasn't turned it yet. I think about that a lot. More after this.
Woke up to drill hands and dusty boots. Where back boys playing with a group of fruit. Mama's ass happy behind the back. Speaking out at the food stand. Blues. Truth's illegal, breathing too. Watching light will be subdued. This land was free, now just reviewed. They pass out flags and tell us sing while the drones above do the policing. Pastor's gone, replaced by a file says don't resist, smile for the dial. Got a barcode on my neck, my brother's face is just a check. And my prayers bounce off the screen, sanitized, unseen, unclean. Share them live, them old blues, wound up tight in red badge rules. Hopes of mutiny they won't excuse, but we hum it still until the noose. Code on my neck, my brother's face is just a check, and my prayers bounce off the screen, sanitized, unseen, unclean. Yeah, them live, them old blues, wound up tight in red badge rules. Hopes of mutiny they won't excuse, but we hum it still under the noose. Under the noose, under the noose, under the noose.
Doesn't it? We always talk about the walls, the checkpoints, the riders, like it's just here. Like America is the only place walking on the razor's edge. But the truth is, we exported the end. And some countries, they bought it in bulk. Let's take a little tour of the world, shall we? The Department of Homeland Containment doesn't have borders. Not really. Not anymore. You see, when the government builds the blueprint for handling a worldwide infection and then wraps it in barbed wire and biometric scans, the rest of the world watches. And some of them, well, they take notes. The DHC started as an emergency fix. A stitched together beast made of FEMA's bones, the CDC's half-truths, and the NSA's surveillance toys. But somewhere between 1993 and now, it became the mold for a new kind of global control. Take Eastern Europe. Two countries at war, Ukraine and Russia. Both using containment tech developed here. DHC drones, DHC live feed combat. And guess what happens when soldiers die on the battlefield? They turn. Doesn't matter what flag they wore or how clean the shot. One breath later, they're part of the problem. And guess who profits off the protocol licensing, the armory resupply contracts, and the undead-proof bunkers? Some three-letter monster back home. In Poland, there's a talk of a city entirely built underground, funded with DHC containment dollars. Tens of thousands of people sealed in, and no one's came out in 5 months. Is it working? Is it a tomb? No way to know. No press allowed to pass the gates. Then there's the Middle East. An entire neighborhood in Gaza was firebombed in June. Not because of a confirmed outbreak, but because someone in the allied nation claimed there might be one. No proof, no confirmation. Just fear, weaponized, exported, and dropped from 20,000 feet. Afterwards, the dead came back anyway. Not because of the infection, but because there was no one left to bury the bodies fast enough. This is what global policy looks now. Preemptive containment, military humanitarianism, fire first, verify later. The DHA doesn't need to expand efficiently, they just need you to buy the playbook. And once you do, they are not protecting your people. They're training them to accept the burn. We didn't spread the cure. We sold the silence.
Potentially hostile. Smile instead. You're on the list. Compliance caught in a Judas kiss. Smile for the spotlight. They're watching how you breathe. Don't blink too fast. Don't dream too loud. Don't make the cameras grieve. They painted my door with scanner spray. Now the birds avoid my house all day. Even shadows with their heads down. In a city run by nerves and sounds. I remember streets full of sound. Before whispers were license bound. Now the silence walks in. The sirens are like bedtime fruits. So smile for the spotlight. Well, one day, you're a citizen of nothing now. The flicker in the game. So smile for the spotlight. They're watching how you breathe. Don't blink too fast, don't dream too loud. Don't make the cameras grieve. They painted my door with scanner spray. Now the birds avoid my house all day. Even shadows keep their heads down. In a city run by nerves and frowns. I remember streets full of sound. Before whispers were license bound. Now the silence walks in. Sirens are like bedtime fruits. So smile for the spotlight. Even when they hate. You're a citizen of nothing now. Just a flicker in their game. In their game. In their game.
Heads up, listener. We have a very important PSA. Let's see. This message is sponsored by the Department of Homeland Containment and International Quarantine Accord. If you're visiting an Allied outbreak zone, please remember, evacuation priority is based on passport rating and contribution score. Low-score civilians may be redirected to fallback shelters or denied processing. Compliance ensures continuation. Non-compliance ensures removal. Translation: if you're not important, you're flammable. How about that? You watch cities fall from 1,000 miles away and start thinking maybe yours is already halfway gone too. But the real collapse, it's not in the streets, it's behind the curtains, inside the heads of folks trying to keep smiling while they sharpen the knives. Let's talk about what it feels like to live in a country that already buried itself and just hasn't made the announcement yet. Every time I talk to someone from a safe zone, I ask them the same question. What's the worst part? They don't say the sirens. They don't say the checkpoints. Hell, most of them don't even say the infected anymore. They say it's the pretending. You see, America doesn't scream when it hurts. It laughs too loud. It makes new sitcoms. It builds fake diners with real bulletproof glass. It sells you zombie-shaped gummy bears at a gas station. People show up to work like it matters. They still swipe their time cards, clean bathrooms, file reports, knowing full well one contaminated sneeze turns the whole floor into a meat locker. The hysteria, man. You ever seen someone start coughing in a post office line? You think they pulled a live grenade on you. Weddings now come with a bite checks, coffins pre-sealed with signed DHC waiver forms. Your neighbor churns at a mall and you just keep walking, because it's not your section, not your aisle, not your turn. But some communities, they host these joy days. Little fairs inside the perimeter, music, kettle corn, dancing. The red badge riders even hand out glow sticks. They play pop music over the loudspeakers to drown out the screams from the burn zones. But the worst part? Kids don't play pretend anymore. They don't play cops and robbers. They play contaminated zone breach. One kid gets to be infected, the others drag him out of the hallway and pretend to torch him. This ain't survival, folks. This is numbness in a flag-shaped box. We're not rebuilding. We're rehearsing for the end. Every damn day. That little rant was brought to you by Tactical Back-to-School Survival Kits. Back-to-school season is here, and if you know what that means, bite drills, barricade races, and all new Tactical U Survival Kits. Each Tactical pack includes bullet-resistant cartoon backpack, 1 week of rations or a fortified snack bar, and a certificate of valor for your little brave little prepper. And don't forget to ask your school counselor if your district accepts our newest addition, the Little Cleanser, a little compact flamethrower attachment for the hall monitors. When the sirens sing and the shadows fall, Tactical does it all. Now, I don't know what's worse, the ad, or that we're actually gonna need this crap now.
The mailman still wears his hat, even if the post is ashes and sand. The kids draw chalk on barricades, pretending school still has grades. That week we didn't die. We sang fake birthdays under leaden skies. We danced in puddles full of fear, but smiled like the end wasn't near. They ration jokes now like they do bread. Only so many laughs for someone's dead. A neighbor played violin on the roof until the notes invited something loose. We marked the days with candlelight, each wick a dare against the night. And if one flamed out too soon, said they left to chase the moon. The week we didn't die, we live like gods beneath the light. And if that's the best we get, then damn it, we'll never forget. That week we didn't die. We sang fake birthdays under leaden skies. We danced in puddles full of fear, but smiled like the end wasn't near. They ration jokes now like they do bread. Only so many laughs for someone's dead. A neighbor played violin on the roof until the notes invited something loose. Mark the days with candlelight, each wick a dare against the night. And if one flamed out too soon, we said they left to chase.
Let's take a stroll through the world's latest batch of bad news. In Brazil, we got Sao Paulo breach. Authorities confirmed a tunnel breach beneath one of their mega refuge towers. Infected tunnel through collapsed metro lines emerging into a green zone cafeteria. 32 dead, 3 missing. Military says it was an isolated error. Locals call it sabotage. No footage was released. South Africa, in their dry zone. Cape Town's outer limits have been reclassified as a dry zone Class C, meaning no aid, no extraction, no acknowledgement of human life inside the zone. That's 18,000 people vanished on paper. In Japan, Kyoto region, authorities are warning of a silent resurgence. That's code for people are churning without injury. No bite, no trauma, just collapse and then churn. Japan's Ministry of Peacekeeping suspects contaminated and preserved water rations. Now for domestic news. In Houston, reported 5 new flare-ups in the last 72 hours. A fire station was overrun, ironically while responding to a call of a residential carbon monoxide alarm. Meanwhile, in Rochester, New York, the underground shelter 14B collapsed during a routine lockdown test. 73 presumed lost. The DHC blamed soil instability. Locals blamed the federal blueprints. Another world news, we have Australia. It's a radio blackout. Signals from the Darwin, Brisbane, and the Alice Springs have gone completely dark. No satellite ping, no emergency codes, just silence. Either they're saving power out there, or there's nothing left to say. That's the news. Not from your television, not from the polished suits on Channel 8, just the sound of the world cracking, one break at a time. Music makes you wonder if anyone's still out there, or if we're just talking to the rubble that learned how to echo. But hey, even in the end, someone will always selling something. Assure Insurance. When life ends, don't let it get messy. Introducing Assure Protection Plans, the first and only life after death insurance policy with real results. Assure Insurance turns your loved one's passing into power. Choose from a variety of post-life benefits, including bite-free burial compliance, quick burn cremation kits, and our new Freedom Flame family discount plan. Legal disclaimer: Assure Insurance reserves the right to deny payout if subject reanimates within 24 hours. Assure is not responsible for traumatic residue, spiritual dislocation, or unauthorized necrotic activity. Assure, because peace of mind should survive you. You know it's bad when they're monetizing the ashes. Let's talk about what it's like to live under the red badge riders. Not the stories they feed the DHC, not the propaganda they hang from the town halls. The truth, the decay, the mind rot. Inside their zones, they're not citizens. You're a variable, a statistic waiting to become either contained or the uncontained. You get assigned sleep hours, noise limits, chore quotas. You ever heard of a man getting fined for sneezing after curfew? Well, I have. Got that citation right here in front of me. Schools don't teach anymore. They test for psychological compliance. You fail too many emotional regulation drills, you get put on a watch list. Therapists are just confession recorders now. You say you aren't afraid too often, the red badge logs it. Flags you for potential ideological instability. 3 flags, and then you disappear. People there don't have dreams. They have scripts. Everything they say, everything they wear, every twitch of their hands, practiced. I interviewed a girl, 15, maybe 16, who haven't laughed in 2 years. Not because she couldn't, because her uncle vanished after doing it. The writers say it's for safety, that strict zones prevent outbreaks, that you only burn a little to save a lot. But if your soul rots while your body survives, what exactly are you saving? I heard about a street where folks keep plastic over the windows, not for weather, for privacy. Because if you're seen smiling too long at night, the zone enforcers assume sedative misuse. We got one more break coming up, then we close out with what matters most. The world that's still watching this horror unfold and doing nothing.
I left the radio on overnight, hoping her voice might survive the fight. But all I caught was reverb and rain, and a prayer that bled into pain. There's darkness and reverb, a silence that screams. Frequencies lying out, even dreams have machines. You said we built a song from scratch, but your guitar's just a burial patch. You string a wire in my mind, echoes that won't rewind. The signal bends, the tape won't slow, memories hiss in stereo. You are gone, but not gone far. I hear you between the stars. There's darkness and reverb, but silence that screams. Frequencies lying out, even dreams have bridges. Darkness and reverb, but it's where you stay. In every hum, in every decay, you still play.
We have another PSA from the Red Badge Wellness Compliance Notice. This is a Level 3 community notice from the Red Badge Rider Behavior Unit. Unusual optimism, unauthorized laughter, or voluntary eye contact after 2,200 hours may result in a wellness screening or isolation review. A safe mind is a watch to mind. Compliance earns calm, resistance earns view, forgetting earns peace. Does that sound like peace to you, listener? You know, it's crazy. You think a global plague will unite us all. One big wake-up call. One sure survival instinct. But nah. People didn't change. They just adjusted their mask. Or sold them. Let me read you some of the headlines from last week. Straight from the underground press, still barely breathing. UK, Parliament passes the black bagging clause. Makes it legal for infected family members to be removed without notice. You wake up, your spouse is gone, You ask the cops, they shrug. You tell this to a newspaper outlet, you disappear. Berlin institutes the Joy-Free Fridays, mandated silence days, no music, no gatherings, no media. It's being called grief recalibration, unofficial mourning time made official. Residents call it the weekly funeral. In India, they're testing infected power fuel units. Experimental labs using low-motion infected strapped to a treadmill generators to power black sites. No confirmation, but enough footage leaked that no one's denying it with a straight face anymore. China restricts agricultural trade with the western states. Retaliation after food shipments were discovered intentionally infested with doormat infected tissue. No one claims responsibility, but Beijing calls it an act of war by neglect. Let's see. The Vatican issues the final declaration. They called it the Century of Wrath. No cure, no salvation, no ritual, and repent. All international missionaries are recalled. All archives are sealed. This is the world now. Not fighting together, not rebuilding together, just pointing fingers, hoarding supplies, and blaming each other as dead. We used to dream about aliens showing up and uniting the planet. Instead, we just turn on each other. Slower, sadder, one headlight at a time. The Endurance Network. Feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, struggling to make sense of another outbreak, another wall breach, another thermal protocol gone wrong? You're not alone. You're a survivor, and survivors belong in the Endurance Network. Join millions of citizens turned into a daily program designed to keep you informed, compliant, and properly inspired. Get live updates from your local DHC officers, hear exclusive sermons from chainbreaker defectors, practice daily reinforcement mantras, because stability starts inside. The Endurance Network, broadcasting until breathing stops. Tune in, check out, just how they like you. They want you quiet. They want you comfortable in the numb, letting the riders roam your streets, letting the chainbreakers whisper salvation into your fear. They want your eyes off the sky and your mouth sewn shut with curfews and safety slogans. But you're still here, you're still breathing, and you're still tuning in. And that's defiance, and they can't drone that out. That's the truth they can't redact. So wherever you are, in the bunker, in the blackout zone, in some cracked motel room with a shotgun and a shortwave, know this, you ain't alone. The riders are watching, the silence is rising, but we're louder. I'm Rick Rivers, and this is Dead Dial. If this broadcast finds you, remember, truth don't die easily. Like, subscribe, tune in again if you're still breathing. Turning that dial back to static.